Now, this is an interesting one because we're going to talk about contraband because there's an awful lot of concern about contraband getting into prison, and it's made a few headlines with a few notorious criminals who apparently had mobile phones taken into prison. So how is this all happening? How can it actually happen when people are locked behind bars? And of course, there's an issue with drugs and all sorts of things, isn't there, in prisons? Let's talk to retired prison governor Vanessa Frake, who can shed some light on all of this. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning.
Can I just say, it is quite intimidating talking to a governor. But it is because, I mean, actually, it must be an incredibly difficult job because you have to maintain an authority that most of us can't imagine under those sort of circumstances.
I think you have to find the line, don't you? You know, you have to... at one end, you have to be authority. You have to be prepared to make decisions, and sometimes difficult decisions that are going to upset people. But at the same time, you have to be prepared to listen, and listen to staff and listen to prisoners. You know? So it's finding that line.
And what was the message that you got from staff then, in the challenges they faced in trying to stop contraband coming in? Because you discover one route and a new one would open up. It was an ongoing, eternal battle, wasn't it?
Yes, I mean, it's always, you know, you shut one door and you think, great, you know, we found this sort of route into the jail, and 5 minutes later, you know, somebody else steps into those shoes and you have another route in. And, you know, prison is a sedentary place. You know, prisoners have time on their hands. They have time to look, time to listen, time to plot. And it's being aware. The prison service has done marvellous over the years with stopping contraband coming into jails, but there's still much more that they can do. And unfortunately, that is going to cost money at some stage.
But aren't there sort of key supply routes? I mean, we talk about mobile phones, obviously, which, I mean, perhaps are less problematic than something like drugs. I don't know quite how you band it all. But, I mean, something like a mobile phone must be coming in from either a visitor or a member of staff, mustn't it?
Not necessarily. When I was at Wormwood Scrubs, we had a solicitor bringing in mobile phones. We had people at court giving prisoners mobile phones. We even had a line that was running from the top of Hammersmith Hospital into one of the cells on D Wing that was just like a fishing wire straight down. You know, this is what I'm saying. You know, it's not... It sounds so easy to stop prisoners getting mobile phones, but prisoners, once they're in prison, they're not kept in a glass box and just sort of thrown food through a little hole. They meet people, they meet staff of all sort of grades and education, chaplains, you know, psychologists, psychiatrists, the whole shebang. They go out to police productions. You know, so there are many, many ways. I mean, we've had them thrown over in dead pigeons that have been sewn up. We've had them thrown over in tennis balls so that nobody batted an eye because we had drug dogs wandering around the jail. You know, so we've had them in dirty nappies. You know, this is the sort of thing that people don't realise. It isn't as cut and dried as just stopping prisoners getting mobile phones.
Once they get them, they then have to hide them somewhere. They're in their cells. Presumably that's relatively easy to search, isn't it? I mean, you do strip searches of the prisoner themselves, and I gather you've got contraptions for orifices, if I may say this at this time.
That's not quite right.
Okay.
There is a body orifice security scanner, which looks a bit like an electric chair, but it isn't. And prisoners sit on it, and it can tell if somebody has concealed something internally. Prison staff don't do internals on prisoners.
Right.
That's absolutely illegal. And if that prisoner doesn't want to give that mobile up, then there's very little you can do. You can take him out of his cell and put him down the segregation unit, put him on basic, and every day ask him...
What do you mean? Sorry, if he doesn't want to give you a contraband item, there's not much you can do?
Well, you can't withdraw it.
Oh, from inside their
Yes,
body.
yes, yeah.
Right one.
Yeah.
All right, gotcha.
That was the thread I was kind of going down.
Point I missed there.
Yes, anyways, moving on swiftly. So, you know, you can take him from the general population and segregate him, and these ones that have been in the headlines recently, I would hope that that's what's been done to them, you know, and all their privileges have been taken off them.
Yeah, I tell you what, it must be a very difficult job for you when you before you retired, and indeed all the staff working under you. I don't think we fully appreciate, do we, the stresses and strains of that sort of work.
No, I don't. I don't think the general public does. I think they think that, you know, once they're behind that wall, that they can switch off. But that's just where, you know, prison staff's work starts. And I think, you know, the media are very good at picking up all the bad stuff that that happens inside prisons, but not so good. You know, the staff do a fantastic job and see things on a daily basis that most people don't see in a lifetime. So, you know, I was quite happy to come on here and explain some of the difficulties that prison staff face with contraband coming into jails.
Well, it's been fascinating. Could talk to you for hours. Really could. Find it really, really intriguing. Vanessa Frake, retired prison governor and author. We should point out Wormwood Scrubs is a bloke's prison.
Yes, it's a male
as
prison.
A female governor. Respect to you for that.